Sarah O'Neill once said, "How can we accept a government that only applies law to fill prisons with black bodies? How can we accept a government that permits and perpetuates violence against its people?" The state traded white hoods for police uniforms. In 2015, the death rate for young African Americans was 5 times higher than those of white people the same age, according to The Guardian. Now, America is still very racist, but over the years, the system has learned to be more subtle about their racism. Now, even though African Americans aren't slaves anymore, we have a long way to go before we are seen as equal to white people. But there's something we can all do to put an end to racism. Now, I can't talk about every issue that's going on. That will take me forever. But I would just like to shine light on just a couple of issues. One of the first major issues is that the KKK is still relevant today. For those of you who did not hear me, let me repeat myself. In 2016, the Ku Klux Klan is still relevant. For those of you who do not know who they are, they're a white supremacy group who took root during the Jim Crow era in the 19th century. Now, according to the Southern Poverty Law Center, there's about 190 active groups. And within those 190 active groups, there's 5,000 to 8,000 group members, according to the ATTN. Now, they stayed mostly out of headlines. Most people don't really hear about them. I didn't even think they were that big. But they recently became back into the spotlight when they said that they were going to support Donald Trump in his run for presidency, according to the ATTN. Now, for those of you who are planning on voting, please know who you're voting for. Whoever supports your candidate says a lot about who they are. And even though Donald Trump says he didn't know about it and he wants something to do with it, that still says a lot about him. Now, according to the statistic by the Washington Post, African Americans are pulled over at about 12%, while for white people, it's just 9%. Now, if you look at that statistic, it's not too much of a difference. Doesn't look like too big of a deal. But when you take in consideration that African Americans make up only 6% of the national population, according to the Washington Post, that is a huge difference. Now, racism is everywhere. For those of you who do not know, I'm half black. You probably can't tell. My skin's pretty white. But I have a younger brother who is 9 years old. And he doesn't look like me. He has darker skin. He has a curly hair like me. And he was shopping at my job when an 18-year-old and a 24-year-old and a bunch of girls decided to walk up to him and call him a Negro. Yes, I said it, a Negro. He ran up to me crying, and I tried to look at him and tell him, "I'm sorry, but that's going to happen again, and you just kind of have to get over it." My dad was driving home from the gym in Danville when a police officer pulled him over. And when the police officer pulled him over, he asked him, "Do you know about the recent break-ins that are going on?" My dad looked at him and said, "No, I'm just trying to get home." There's no reason why either of those situations should have happened. But just with every situation, there's light at the end of the tunnel. There's something we can all do to end racism. One thing you can do is, if you see a police officer who's pulled over a black man or a black woman, pull over as well. You don't have to be right behind them. You can be a couple feet back, but just watch them. The police officer is less likely to do something if you're standing there, if you're watching them and making sure that nothing happened. As soon as the car drives away, you drive away. Another thing you can do is go to the protests. They are peaceful protests. They happen in San Francisco and in Oakland. Follow the Black Lives Matter. They have a lot to say. And thirdly, what you can do is you can talk to your family about it. Let them know what's going on. Most people probably don't even know what's going on, and it's really important to inform them. Another thing you can do is post about it on social media. I mean, Black Lives Matter started as just a hashtag, and now it's huge. It's national. And lastly, call out the people who are being racist. When they say things that are wrong and are racist, tell them they're wrong and it's probably incorrect. Now, as a nation, we can and we need to do better for those who live here. No person should be afraid to walk down the street or wear a hoodie just because of the color of their skin. At the end of the day, we're all one race, and that is a human race. And we can't do anything unless we all stand together. And once we all stand together, we can put an end to racism as a whole.